part two. We're going to create an overlay here. This is basically what you want to be sitting in the background around your cameras once we take the camera areas out and create transparencies. So you might be an artist and you might be able to put something very cool together. You might just be grabbing a picture from somewhere. Make sure you give credit and make sure you have permission to use that. Now what I'm going to be doing is using this picture of a forest, and I'm going to move this layer into our overlay here. All right, now I need to make it bigger because it's going to need to take up the entire screen. So we're going to move this here. I think it's a very nice and cool looking photo. Move this over here. And now that I've made it the right size, I can align it any way I want. I'm just going to leave it here. I kind of like it this way. I now need to drag this all the way to the bottom so it's the second to lowest layer. We need to have our background layer, which is transparent. We need to have our picture, whatever that is. And now we're going to move on to these. Now, in theory, you could just use a select tool and cut a hole out of this, and that's fine. You could decide to use different shapes. That's fine too. But I like doing this method because you're going to get everything uniform. You could use the steps in the previous video with an ellipsoid and get the same results by lining everything up. But this is how I'm going to show you to do it. I'm now going to make all of my green capture screen stuff here all one layer. I'm going to merge this down. Okay, and now I'm going to actually merge this into this background picture right now. So you need to make sure that whatever changes you really need to make to that, you've already made, because once we've merged this down, they're all one layer. Now you can always undo it and back it up, and that's fine. But the idea is that once we do this, we're going to start doing some destruction to this layer. So I'm going to merge this down once more. So now I've got 3 layers. I've got my guideline layer, which I don't need anymore, but I'm just going to leave that alone. I've got my pasted layer, and I've got my background, which is transparent. I'm going to take that magic wand tool or the fuzzy select tool, and I am now going to take the green out here. That's why we use that green. It makes it so you can easily take that out and it will never interfere. It'll never pick up any of the other colors around it because that color green does not occur in nature. Again, this is why they use green screen when creating certain digital effects in movies and television, because you can take that out with basically the same tool, a fuzzy select tool, and it will not take any of the people or their clothing out of the shot. So we're going to delete that out of here. Now you can see it does leave a little bit of a residue. Now I could just go ahead and clean all that up using the fuzzy select tool. I could probably play around with the threshold settings and make this a little bit more effective in taking out the green. Another option is that you could drop a border over top of this and then it wouldn't matter. So you have some options there. I would recommend spending some time to get that cleaned up, but I'm not going to bore you with you watching me click around and do that. But now we've created the basic overlay that we're now going to use for our stream. So I'm going to export this. This is important though. You don't want to skip this part. You need to export this, and you need to export this with a file type that will support alpha channels, that will support transparency. A JPEG will not support it. So you need to export this as either a GIF or as a PNG. That's the easiest way to do this. So I'm going to call this TTRPG overlay tutorial. And we're going to export that now. And I am now going to go on to the next video, which is how to bring this into OBS to create your overlay for your game.